Nick.
Hey, Tice, what's going on?
Oh, same shit, my man.
I know, right?
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, gang.
It's episode number 84? 84, I want to say.
You were going to say 84?
Of Nick Tyson Videotape.
Hey, gang.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us once again. We've got a pretty exciting episode for you this week.
We do.
We're heading straight back to the dear old time of 2001.
It wasn't a good
tips
time.
And wide-legged jeans. And
God, it was awful.
It was all kinds of terrible.
A lot of glitter and...
Yeah, glitter and...
Yep. And it was bad. It was bad fashion, is what it was.
The fashion was terrible.
Do you remember...
The music was
just
also
as bad,
terrible.
Just as bad. Do you remember Ministry of Sound? There's a Ministry of Sound shop that sells like rave gear.
Oh, yeah.
That is 2000. The fact that they're still going, there's one on Brunswick Street.
Oh,
it's still there. And oh, my God.
I wore a pair of raver pants at one time in my life, I reckon. Yeah, I gave them a run.
Decent. How well did the run go? Did it go well?
Oh, no, it didn't go well at all.
Right. Did you get laid at all at this time?
No, I can't pull that shit off. There's no way. But we are talking about the Fast and the Furious, the first film.
The Fast and the Furious. Not Fast and Furious.
Not Fast and Furious?
No. The Fast and the Furious.
And not Fast and Furious.
Yep.
I feel like one of them is just called Fast and Furious, and one of them is called The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's The Fast and the Furious, Fast and Furious, and then Fast 8.
Right. Furious 6? Is that what they called it?
I literally have no idea.
Who knows?
I'm spitballing here.
But this is the first of the 8 films in the franchise. The franchise that could. It's the little franchise that could.
Hey,
everyone thought it was buried.
Guns.
It was done.
Everyone's
it was
like,
the shambles.
Yeah, cool. Tokyo Drift. Pass to the side.
Yeah. And then suddenly, here we are, 8 films deep. This thing's making coin.
And a lot of coin at that.
Yeah, so we're going to go back and talk about the first one of those.
Hell yeah.
But before we do any of that, Nick, why don't you tell people where they can find us, my man?
Well, gang, thanks for joining in. You can, I'm sure you're listening right now, and if you scroll down, I'm sure there's a little 5-star rating. If you do like what you hear thus far, hey, click on those 5 stars. And if not, like, share, rate, review us, do all those things. It would be much love. You can't do it on some podcast apps, but that's okay.
That's all right. Find us on iTunes. Find us on iTunes. Stars there.
Exactly.
You can even rate and review us on Facebook if you'd like. We'd love to see Facebook reviews. That's really cool as well. And you can send us a message through Facebook, which is always lovely. I do like to see those. On
the other social media side of things, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, so you can follow us on those. There are different things that I post on either of those things.
Yeah.
But,
that's it. You want to follow us on all of those because you get you get some different artwork, some different stories, some different things shared, some cool things that are floating around. We like to share them around at different things.
We do.
So
but Facebook is the main one. Facebook is the main one.
We do a lot on Facebook. But yeah, for the full experience, get in and follow us on all your social network platforms.
And if you do have that one relative like I do who only listens to podcasts on YouTube, we are on YouTube.
We are on YouTube.
So you can jump us, click on there, and we're all over that.
We are. Well, Nick, before we move on to our regularly scheduled programming, we do need to have a bit of a somber.
We do have to be a bit of a somber.
We did lose someone who was very close to us. Well, not like
influential
to us. We lost Stan Lee this week. The champion, ripe old age of 95.
Man, what an innings!
Hell of an innings.
And a lot of cameos.
A lot of cameos, and still more to come. He did film quite a few of the cameos before his passing, so there are more to come.
He's in Avengers 4?
I would imagine so, yeah. I reckon he got away with that one.
Because I don't want to be the last one to be Venom. I heard he was in Venom, and I was
that's not a way to go.
Full pass.
Yeah. It's going to be really strange watching a Marvel movie without the cameo.
Yeah.
Because I like the cameos. Do you have a favourite cameo, Nick?
Oh, God. Let me have a think. Nothing that sticks out. I think Deadpool was my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he was the DJ at the strip club.
Yep,
that was
funny.
That was hilarious.
I'm kind of torn between him being the hairdresser in Thor Ragnarok, giving him the haircut.
Yeah.
Or maybe even I like the one where he's the drunken soldier in Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
You like that one?
Yeah.
And he leaves getting carried out by a couple of people going, Excelsior. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Exactly.
That was very cool.
Excuse me. Very, very sad. Obviously, hugely influential.
A lot of the guys at work were kind of thinking that if he maybe in the next couple of ones, there'll be a little... I think they'll still do cameos, but maybe like a Force Ghost...
Oh, right.
Style,
cool. Yeah,
maybe something like that. There'll still be a little tip of the hat.
There's going to be an acknowledgement, of course, in the next couple of films, I would imagine. And the whole idea of the cameo, they're going to have to retire that idea of his cameos, and I would imagine, knowing how influential he was to Marvel as well, like to even the films, like and he's just so widely respected and loved that I think there'll be something nice there as well.
Yeah. He really was the heart of the whole Marvel
and look,
thing.
and had, along with some other creators there as well who, they all kind of pulled together, and we think about these characters that we talk about so often now. Like here I am now saying that my favorite Avenger is Thor, and this is the guy. It was his baby. Thor, Spider-Man, like the Fantastic Four,
the X-Men, the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
like he
just
really
churned them all out. But not only that, he with these characters, spoke on different things like individuality, racism, and then including everyone as well with the diverse.
Look, and he always tried
topics.
to, he managed to find a way to make it so that, you can read comics and have a good time reading a comic, but hey, we can, learn some shit while we're here, and we can. Oh God, excuse me.
Tyson's dying.
Yeah, we can, try and he took the time to want to pass on a message. It wasn't just. Here's the character, give me my money. It was, he took the time with the whole Stan soapbox stuff, and where he would write stuff like, hey, like we can be good people as well. We can enjoy this stuff and have a really good time, but we can learn some lessons from that as well. It was very sad, very very sad. But his memory will live on, no doubt, and all us nerds who kind of built confidence in ourselves because of the comics we read when we were young. Yes, we will sorely miss him.
A friend of mine, I never got to. A friend of mine went to the States. It was, I think, about 2 years ago, and she said to me, she called me up. This was out of the blue. I hadn't heard from her in ages. She called me up and said, "Hi, I'm in LA." I was like, "Right, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, walking on the street, and out of a banking his check, I saw Stanley.
No way.
I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like,
doing it old school.
Did you talk to him?
Banking the check in person.
Because he's an old man, And she's
going
like,
down the post office to pay his bills.
Exactly. She's like, "I did not have the guts to go up and say hi." But
I don't
one
think I
person.
could either.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Come on.
Oh.
If anyone's going to not brush you off as like, no, fuck off.
It's a good point.
It's Stan Lee, man.
Yeah.
He's going to, spend some time with you and say hi for his fans. That's what he did. That's who he was.
Yeah, and you can see from all the people that have been coming forward and like posting photos with him and all that kind of stuff, he just lit up a room, and he really took the time to be a supportive person, a person that was always happy and would just lift the spirits, and would take that time with his fans, and just seemed like had such a positive energy all the time.
Yeah,
and for a guy pushing the age he was,
Jesus.
like to have still so much life in him.
I know.
He had a good innings.
Good innings.
Very good innings.
We'll always love him.
That's it. Excelsior to big old Stanley.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Nick.
Tyres?
Let's talk some trailers.
All right, fair deal.
Everybody's talking
trailers. All right, we're just going to talk one thing this week.
We are.
Because there weren't really many new trailers. We got a lot of... they're new trailers in the sense that they're...
We've never seen them before.
But they are the seconds and thirds of a few movies that we didn't really have the opportunity to talk about. So we thought we'd just pick one in particular.
Yeah.
And that is Nick.
Oh, geez. How do you say it? Atlantia?
No, Alita.
Alita.
Battle Angel.
Does it bother you that I'm not completely human?
You are the most human person I have ever met.
Didn't I tell you to be home before dark?
I just lost track of time.
Alita,
You have to be responsible. You are someone very special.
Hey, kid.
not just a teenage girl.
Hey, what's your problem?
You can't remember.
What do you mean?
Doc found you in the scrapyard. So you must be from up there.
and I'm just an insignificant girl.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
I'm not your daughter. I don't know what I am.
I do. You're the most advanced weapon ever. But that's just a shell. It's not bad or good. That part's up to you.
I do not stand by in the presence of evil.
She's threatening the natural order of things.
Tonight is not a game. It is a hunt. I need you to destroy a girl called Alita.
You made the biggest mistake of your life.
And what's that?
Underestimating who I am.
So,
we spoke a little bit about this on the looking forward to this year, I think.
well,
very early
yes,
on in the year.
because
Is that
this
when we
movie
spoke
has
about
been
it?
pushed back multiple times.
Right.
I think it was due to come out summer this year.
Right.
Then it was going to be late this year, like November,
Yeah.
December,
And
and
now
now
it's
it's
next year?
February next year.
Right.
So that's never a good sign.
Really? You don't think it's a good sign?
Well,
You don't
look,
think
if
it's-
anything, it can mean one of two things. They're not super happy with the product, and they're burying it in a kind of a quieter time. February is not exactly
It's not the time you go to the cinema.
golden era.
Yeah, yeah.
So that way, if it only makes 30 or 40 mil in its opening weekend,
Yep.
it's kind of like, hey, that's not too
We
bad.
cashed in, it's okay.
Yeah,
We got our money back.
Well, I think this thing cost a bit of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is-
feels pretty. It feels like they spent a lot on it, and I think they might be a little disappointed in it. But
Yeah.
alternatively, it may be because they keep getting the thing. Production release schedule is just so stacked at the moment that you don't want to be fighting against other movies that with recognizable IPs.
Right.
So as soon as, let's say, this has been on, because this had been coming out for years. I remember hearing about this movie like 10 years
really?
ago. Yeah.
Oh, really?
James Cameron has wanted to do this for years.
Oh, okay.
And I was always interested because I have seen the manga.
Right.
Hang on. I always get this wrong. Is the manga
anime?
Yeah, the anime, but it was
Manga is a
manga's the
hardback,
comics.
is a paperback. Yeah,
so
yeah.
the anime adaptation of the manga.
Right.
Which is pretty weird, and it's as far as narrative goes, it's probably it's a little patchy. I mean, as far as anime goes, some of them can be pretty they don't all follow a traditional narrative structure.
No.
They can be like, I remember the
gonna go left
finale
field,
of
that's
this
fine.
is really somber and low key.
Oh, decent.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I remember as a kid who was kind of like, I just want to watch some crazy ass anime. I remember being a bit kind of like, oh, this is a weird one.
Yeah.
But very good though.
Yeah.
I remember it being quite good.
Yeah.
Not to the level of some of the other great ones that people still talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely had some
Ninja
potential.
Scroll, baby. All
Ninja
the way.
Scroll.
Everyone loved
man, that
Ninja
thing's
Scroll.
fucked.
Is it?
Oh.
I've still never seen it.
Oh no, I've watched it again not that long ago.
And
actually.
I still haven't seen Akira either.
Akira is probably the one that
everyone remembers.
holds up 100%.
Oh, really?
Like,
Still?
it is.
Okay.
It's really something else. But some of those other ones, man, there's just way too much dodgy fucking. They just loved drawing sexy shit, didn't they?
Absolutely, man.
Like, it was just all like, how can we get some boobs
They knew
and
their
some
audience
sex into
and
this?
they played to them, man. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, which I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think Alita has much of that in it.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty low key in that regard.
A bit PG?
Yeah,
Nice and
maybe.
PG.
I don't know. I could be
I have no
completely
idea.
wrong.
Yeah, fair deal.
Then again, I've seen some like fucked up
yeah.
ones. So maybe
We've
as
spoken about Legend of the Overfed.
Oh
We've
my
talked-
god, what is that thing? That was notorious.
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
great.
like walking into, because when I used to rent them, I remember everyone being like,
Dude.
the conversation was, oh no, you can't watch Urotogotsuki or whatever it was.
Urokosuki Dojo.
Yeah, that's it. Legend of the Overfiend.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, don't go near
watch
it.
that.
Don't watch it. It's intense. And of course, me being like, whatever, man.
I'm going to watch it.
Oh,
Whoa.
dearie me.
That's a lot of demon fucking.
It's a pretty much just a big old demon orgy.
It's just a tentacle of
No,
nastiness.
so many tentacles and so many like just lingering shots of like anatomy, and you're just kind of like, oh, what am I
Throbbing,
doing?
flaccid weirdness. You're like, what is that? What is that?
And then people getting torn
and there's
apart.
a part 2 of it as well because you keep watching. You're like, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
who's going back for round 2 of that?
Round
Who's
2,
like,
man.
I need to see where
You
this
know
is
what? I'm
going.
going to keep going. I'm going to keep going.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
Well,
Yeah, fair deal.
yeah.
Fair deal.
But so this anyway, Elite. There's been 2 trailers.
There has.
Neither one of them. Maybe even 3. God, I think there might have been a
this is
teaser.
the third. Yeah, I think this is the third. Well, the third release of footage that's come out.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
the first one was very just a couple of shots. You didn't really know storyline wise what's going on, whereas this gives you a very nice story.
Well, this is the best
sets it up well.
of the footage they've released so far, and this is the
Yeah.
best put together trailer so far as well. I think by
Yeah.
far, because it really it's setting a different tone to what the previous ones did as
Yeah.
well. It feels a lot more. It feels a lot better structured. It just as a trailer, and look,
You see
know,
more of her story. You find more of her character in this trailer.
Yeah,
You
she's
realise what's
showing
going
more
on.
personality. I think they've actually also spent some time. I'd be interested to go back. I think they're trying to fix her face. Like,
Oh, really?
I think they're.
I like it.
I think they're close, man. I reckon they're really close. Because if you go back to that first teaser,
'Cause I think
she looks so much weirder.
She does, but I don't think she's meant to look normal.
No,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I remember that first. I think they've actually shrunk her eyes a little bit since the first.
yeah, her eyes were
Because they were massive, and everyone was kind of like, no, this is it's. I'm getting serious Uncanny Valley vibes from this. And I think they've toned it down a little bit. I think they've
Right.
rendered her with a little bit more effectively this time.
Okay.
She's looking like a far more believable 3-dimensional being.
She is.
Whereas in that first trailer,
She's had a lot of time, though.
Yeah, well, this is
Yeah.
it. Obviously, maybe this was the cause of the delay. Maybe that they thought, no, let's invest some more time into it and really nail this 3D, this character animation.
Yeah.
But some of the action, man, looks really great.
It's badass.
Like, it looks like it could be really fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Ghost in the Shell
I'm still going to watch that.
vibes.
But
That was such a disappointment.
Of course
Oh
it was.
my
The trailer
God.
looked badass, and
It
especially because it was
looked
a
good.
Depeche. Yeah, it was awesome.
And
It was
the
a Depeche
production
Mode song. I
design-
was like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, good trailer.
Right.
Really disappointing film.
Yeah, fair deal.
So, look, this could go either way.
It really could. To be honest, it could turn out to be Ronin. What is it?
Well, I like 47
I
Ronin,
know you like
so
47 Ronin, but
I might
you know,
be one of the only people that like it.
Hey, I watched
but
it.
I like
didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I don't really remember it though.
Well, I've seen it a few times now, so I remember it pretty well.
I'll give it a second
I
watch.
got the Blu-ray.
You got the. You got the Blu-ray.
I was all
I've got
in
the
on
Blu-ray.
47 Ronin. I
Bring
was
it
the
on.
only person.
You were,
I'm
yeah.
waiting for that guy to make another movie because that is a gorgeous fucking movie. I don't care what anyone says.
It's stunning.
It's beautiful.
Stunning film.
Yeah.
Storyline wise, little bit
Look,
to the
there's
left.
some moments.
But
Yeah,
hey,
there's some
you know,
flaws.
It's fine. Tell me a movie that doesn't. You know, well, there's tons of movies that don't.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is he gave it a shot, and he did win. He gave it a shot. That's the point.
He got pretty close.
He got pretty close. Whereas this I'm all for, and especially because I don't see if a movie takes a backseat and goes, you know what, we're going to release it now. We're going to we changed our minds. We're going to release it at a different date. You know what, we're going next year. If someone does that in the film industry, I look at it because if they do that in the game industry, because I'm a gamer, we're not ready yet. Give us more time.
Sure.
We need to fix some shit.
And there's nothing
because you
wrong
don't-
with that.
Exactly. Because if you're going to release something, in my mind, take as much time as you need.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Get it right.
Get it to a point where you're okay with it, and then release it. So for me, this is just going back, especially because, I don't know, maybe Rodriguez is not okay with some of the stuff, or maybe James Cameron is stepping in going, no, I like it like this. Can I have more plans? Are there more plans? Can we do more plans? Can we do another worldly thing? Can we do I don't like the 3D. Let's, because I know everyone
can they
knows.
be blue?
Exactly. Everyone knows he's a perfectionist. And like you said before, this was his baby, or he's
Well, I
been
think
on
this was a bit of a passion
while?
project for James Cameron, yeah. I found Robert Rodriguez as director an odd choice.
Yeah.
But
that's what's drawn me to it as well.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
idea of those two kind of working together, whether I don't really know to what extent James
Yeah,
Cameron is involved.
as a part of it, yeah.
He may have just kind of stepped away and said, "Look, I'm going to be on Pandora for the next fucking 27 years,
And
apparently."
No one gives a fuck.
So
by the
I'll
way.
leave this to you, Robbie.
Don't call me Robbie. I'll
Yeah.
smack you in the face with my Spanish guitar.
Or Yeah, there's a gun in this guitar case, by the way.
Yeah.
Or, maybe he was kind of on hand to be a bit more of a creative consultant on it as well. So, and Robert Rodriguez can be a great director.
He's made some good ones.
He can be real hit and miss, but when I like him, I really like him.
Yeah.
And I'll go to bat for Once Upon a Time in Mexico as well.
Yeah, I think you're the only one there.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah.
I really think it's great.
No. Desperado?
Desperado's fantastic.
Desperado is
Such
spot
good
on
fun.
amazing. Once Upon a Time, I never bought it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I find the Johnny Depp character, this is
Really?
one of the last really great Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I loved his character. Don't get me wrong. It's just the movie sucked for me. But then again, I like Machete. And
I hate Machete.
You fucking hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah, your hatred for it is well known.
It was. I did not enjoy that in any way, shape, or form.
I love Machete.
Well, but see, and I like that energy because I really like Planet Terror.
Yeah.
But yeah, Machete, no, not interested.
And I still haven't seen 2, and I can't wait.
I'll happily just watch the trailer from Grindhouse, and that can be the Machete
which is
of my
so
life.
good, by the way.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah, that's fine. That's fair deal.
So yeah, look, I'm keen. If I hope he's not too much in Spy Kids mode, where it's
I know, right?
When he
if we're
goes
not pulling
CGI heavy,
too kids worthy.
Well, it's just when he relies too much, because if you go back and watch those movies, they're pretty unwatchable.
I never watched them
because of he relied way too much on the technology and didn't.
Right.
And because he's such a guerrilla style filmmaker, like he does so much himself.
Edits, soundtracks, everything.
And is it Troublemaker Studios?
Yep,
I feel like they're not exactly like throwing around the cash. I think they're relatively. So I don't know if he produced those Spy Kids movies, but you can feel like something like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, right? It is just unbearable. Like, it is unwatchable. And because I think, so he can have a tendency to get so deep in a CGI kind of landscape that he forgets about the story that he's telling.
Did you watch all of Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Oh, no.
I need to know more about this. Really? You put that on and thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, I tend to give his stuff a go.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's Robert Rodriguez, man.
I know why. Because you watched Desperado and the hook was Faculty. You were the same as me.
We're kids of the 90s, man.
And went, you know what? This is fucking amazing.
He was one of our heroes back in the day because he was the guy. Like, he was the guy that made a kick-ass movie on $10,000.
And then From Dusk Till Dawn came out.
And then,
episode 4 of Nick Tyson Videotape.
Oh my God, way back.
And we love that movie. I fucking love that movie.
It's a great movie. I still love it.
I love it.
I'll tend to watch anything he's done. I haven't seen all the Spy Kids.
Totally. I won't touch any Spy Kids, but I'll... That came out wrong. God damn it. I won't watch any Spy Kids.
You heard it first.
God damn it. You know what? Clark may make me watch some Spy Kids. And I may do something else. I may vacuum. No, that's mean. I'm going to let him watch it.
Give it a go.
Yeah. No, I'm not giving it a go.
No, fair enough.
I'm not giving it a go.
But look, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I hope it's not a disappointment like Ghost in the Shell. Or,
fair deal.
What's something else that was kind of in this? I've noticed this kind of like...
It's the neo-noir anime coming to life? Yeah.
Was it just Ghost in the Shell, or was there another one that tried to do it as well in the last couple of years?
All I can think of is Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now.
Are you excited for the... I'm just making this up now. Are you excited for the Akira remake...
The live action?
The live action?
I don't know.
Starring, is it
for a while it was Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it a white guy? Because of course it's a fucking white guy.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
he's kind
isn't it Topher
Hawaiian.
Grace?
What? No.
I'm kidding. I'm not.
Topher Grace.
Are you sure? I think it's Topher Grace.
No, it can't be. I think I have the feeling that for a while they were going to cast it with white dudes, and they have since come around that is not the greatest idea, and it is no longer Topher Grace.
Hang on a minute, I was wrong. It's not Topher Grace. It's Channing Tatum.
No. No.
I'm kidding.
Is it? There must be info about it, surely.
I'm not looking it up.
Somebody was directing it as well that was good.
Really?
Yeah. And there was interest in it. I found it interesting because there's potential there. Like, there's potential for something pretty great.
Of course. And that's the thing. Like, they're all going back to comic book movies. there's another side of comic book movies that we haven't even
There's a whole other
touched.
cultures comics that we don't go anywhere near. Like, I mean, Edge of Tomorrow was a Japanese comic. Was it Japanese?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Or was it maybe Korean or something? I'm not sure. But, you know, we've got this whole Asian comic book culture that we haven't gone anywhere near, and their stories are like the stories that you find in those are sometimes really, really complex and like dark and very kind of ripe for cinematic storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's I'm kind of happy. Like it's, you know, it'd be nice if more of them were like Edge of Tomorrow, where we didn't have an anime to base it on, and that's why they're doing it. So for these couple, the only real thing that is drawing people to them is the fact that they existed as an anime first, as a cartoon from these were all from the 80s, I think, weren't they? Ghost in the Shell might have been like early 90s, but
Akira was 88.
Akira was 80s, and I think Alita was 80s as well, or at least maybe very early 90s.
No, I've got nothing on Akira.
Okay,
No,
there you go.
which is good because, you know, let's make sure that we're casting well. Let's make sure that we get it right.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
you know, let's wake up Topher Grace and see what he's doing. I just want to listen to that
Do you reckon
reaction.
he's just sleeping? That's all he does now. He just kind of sleeps on piles of that 70s show residual cash.
He's not on the cash. He's a barista in lower Manhattan.
Topher.
Everyone's like,
Topher
"Fuck,
Grace.
man, weren't you Venom at one point?" He's like, "Yeah, I was Venom.
Yeah.
I was Venom in the shittest Spider-Man movie of all time. I was."
The shittest?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bat. It's the shittest.
I think I like it less than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I need to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 again because I feel it wasn't that bad.
See, that I don't think it was bad, but it wasn't Spider-Man 3
Yeah,
bad.
it wasn't Spider-Man 3 bad.
I don't think. I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've watched the Raimi trilogy. I thought about watching it the other day.
I want to watch number 1 because I rate number 1, man. That fight at the end, even though it was just one-sided, he was getting the shit beat out. It was decent. I liked it. Even though he's getting beaten up by a Power Ranger, but still it was okay.
Yeah, they complain about Apocalypse being a Power Ranger villain. No one had fucking piped up back in the days when Willem Dafoe's running around in like a legitimately something he could have bought at a costume store.
Totally. Punched his face and it just went ping.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is a helmet and a half.
Yeah.
There's no point punching that face. Oh, it was gold.
I think we should move on, Nicholas.
Let's move on.
I think it's a good time to get to our feature prez, my
Feature
man.
prez. Let's rev it up.
Yeah. Nice.
And now for our feature presentation.
You love puns. Come on,
I do like
this.
puns. That's barely a pun, though, I'll be
I
honest
know.
with you.
Look, I'm not good at them. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not good at puns.
Oh, man. Here we are. Fast and the Furious.
The Fast and the Furious.
The Fast
Let's get
and
it
the
right.
Furious.
All right.
So 2001, directed by Rob Cohen.
Rob Cohen. What else has Rob Cohen done?
Look, Rob Cohen's done a bit of stuff. Not all of it good. Dragon and Bruce Lee story.
Oh, Dragon
which
Heart.
features in this movie.
Yep.
I think you're correct. I think he directed Dragonheart.
Yeah.
I think he did Reign of Fire.
Oh, Jesus. Was
Was
on
that
a
him?
dragon bandwagon. Oh, come on.
Jeez. Oh, my God. That's so good. If there ever was one.
Someone write that.
Someone, please copyright Dragon Bandwagon.
Dragon bandwagon.
If that's not the greatest, that was the name of my high school band, Dragon Bandwagon. We were pretty good.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think it might have done Reign of Fire. I reckon he might have had a bit of a dragon kick of all things.
Really?
I get Rob Cohen mixed up with somebody else.
Rob Cohen. Okay, here we go.
I get him mixed up with.
Oh, God, he did Stealth. Remember Stealth? Shit. Oh, he did Hurricane Heist, I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're all over that shit. You're all over that. Except, Dragon Bandwagon.
No, okay, so I did get him mixed up for somebody else. Reign of Fire was not Rob Cohen. I apologise.
Oh, okay.
Now I need to find out who Reign of Fire is. Well, see, now
He did
your
the skull.
gag doesn't work.
Sorry. The Skulls? He didn't. Oh, my gag doesn't work.
Reign of Fire is Rob Bowman.
Well, it was a Rob. You were very
So
close.
Rob Cohen, Rob Bowman.
Yeah. I remember
I
Reign
feel
of
like I can be
Fire, it was very
speaking for that.
lackluster. There were barely any dragons in it. I remember a lot of hiding from them, and that was it.
There is a pretty wild
Was
finale
there?
where Matt McConaughey basically dives off a building into a dragon's mouth.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Did I fall asleep for that part? I don't remember shit.
Maybe. What's Christian Bale doing in that movie? Remember when Christian Bale just didn't know what he was doing with his life and would pop up in movies like Rain of Fire?
And did everything Pocahontas. He was one of the voices in Pocahontas. Yes.
The cartoon, the Disney cartoon.
Oh, 100%. You looked that shit up.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he had something else to do with the Pocahontas movie. I was like, I think it was, was he in A New World?
He's in A New World, yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. I was like, dude, what's your Jones with Pocahontas? What's going on? It was weird. That was me in acting school going, weird.
Although he did direct one of our favourites, Nick, that we will be a future Nick Tyson videotape episode.
The Skulls.
Good old
If
The
you're going to
Skulls.
talk about a 2000s movie, you've got to bring up The Skulls.
Yeah, and obviously had a nice working environment, relationship with Paul Walker.
Yes.
Invited him back to be the lead for the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, and also with Vin Diesel, and went on to do Triple X.
Triple X with Vin Diesel.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, look, I'm a bit hit and miss. I feel like he's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, fair deal.
I would say, look, I'd have to watch Dragon again because I used to really like Dragon, a Bruce Lee story. The Bruce Lee story.
Bruce Lee story?
I used to really like it.
Really?
Now, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Okay.
I would probably rank this as his best movie.
The Fast and the Furious?
Yeah.
Really? I think you need to watch Daylight again.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll be honest with you. I've never seen Daylight.
Oh!
I think I've talked about this on the show before. Yeah,
Okay.
That's a big gap in my Sly Stallone watching.
Yeah, that's fair deal. Look, you're not missing out. I need to see Dragon, a Bruce Lee story again. I remember it. There was a lot of fuss about it when it came out, but that's all I remember.
Yeah, it was huge, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Look, so he hasn't had a great run of recent times.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of faded away a little bit. I think after Triple X kind of was disappointment, and then Stealth was a big disappointment, and then The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Empire was a big disappointment. I think he's now just kind of he's still working, but he's not exactly lighting the world on fire.
Yeah.
He doesn't exactly have I don't like this movie. Spoiler alert: The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. Get it right.
A lot better than I remembered.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Look, I enjoyed myself.
I had a good time, man. I had a good time.
I had a ball.
Is
that because it plays to the masculine side of us?
What?
No? Just asking.
Well, this is the same. But think about Gone in 60 Seconds.
Because
until recently, because we've done both of these movies now in the last 6 months or so, maybe, or year or so. Before this year, if you had asked me which one I liked better, I would have said Gone in 60 Seconds easily. Yeah. I disagree now.
What? Whoa.
I reckon I disagree now. I reckon this is
Gone in 60
at least
seconds.
on par, if not better than Gone in 60 Seconds.
Wow.
Because
it was good.
Gone in 60 Seconds, I think, does a lot of things better than this movie.
Yeah.
But the one thing it doesn't do as well as this movie is, surprisingly, the characters. The characters in this,
you feel for them,
are good.
Yeah.
They're well drawn.
That's true.
I remember, and this is the problem, is because I haven't seen this movie in so long.
Yeah.
All I can think of is the crazy, over the top versions of these characters that they've turned into.
Yeah, fair deal. Because you've watched all of them, haven't you?
I have not seen 7 or 8.
Okay.
Or 3.
I've watched 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Right.
God damn, Tyson, you're all over the shop. Get your shit together, man.
5 is the best.
Get it all together.
5 is the best.
Get it in a bag. Get it together.
Get all your shit. Get all your shit. Put it in a bag.
Go. Take it to the shit store. Okay, fair deal. Okay. So you've seen these characters turn into
basically cartoon characters.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
And Vin Diesel is just a joke.
Right.
Like in these new ones, he's just
don't say that.
a parody.
I'm about to watch them all.
But this it's fine because that's what they've turned into. These movies have turned into that. In my head, I was placing those versions of the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, it would never have worked.
Okay.
In this movie, Vin Diesel's actually kind of just a nice guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Like, he's actually just kind of a cool guy with a bit of a temper.
I know.
And
he says he doesn't have anything, but he does. He has like a sandwich shop and mechanics and a really decent house. Not bad.
I mean, he's stealing a bunch of shit to pay for it all.
Dude,
but
that's fine. That's fine. You know, he's got a third or fourth job. That's fine. And he's drag races at night time, and he's like the king of drag racing.
What's funny, like, do you think it's weird that they're all exceptionally good at what they do? They never lose any races.
Yeah.
Why don't they just keep doing that and let that pay for stuff? Why do they have to steal shit?
There are so many. See, this is where when we're like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about with Fast and the Furious. I've got tons to talk about. Why don't they just? That was one of my things that I was going to bring up. Why don't you just race?
They're so good at it.
Seriously, it's fine. Go to Race Wars.
Even
keep
Letty,
doing that.
Letty's winning races.
Yeah,
she made $2,000 in like a minute and a half.
It's like 2 second time. She's like, yeah, cool, no worries. That's my beef. And then the other is, why are you going out and almost dying over a truckload of fucking DVD players?
I mean, look, 2001. That's $1,000 a pop. Like that's I know.
It doesn't make up for it because they go, yeah, it's like $2 million worth of. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
You literally could not fit $2 million worth of DVD players in a truck. In a truck these days, you would need like a warehouse.
It is a shipping container. It is 2 shipping containers
at least.
At least.
Because you're talking like $70 a pop. Could you imagine how many you need to make? $2 million.
$2 million.
So I love when they pan across, and there's one of those.
See all of them?
Did you see remember the combo TV unit? Remember those fucking things?
Yeah. It was a TV and a VCR or a DVD player underneath it?
Yes. And they were like 22-inch screens or something. And they were square, they were 4x3, and built-in DVD player down the bottom, or built-in VHS player down the bottom. I mean, those things were like a staple of bedrooms. They were great when we were growing up.
Exactly.
Like if you had one of those in your bedroom, you were fucking the coolest.
You won. Yeah, it was decent. But
it's pretty funny to look at now, isn't it?
And now you can pick one of those up for, I'm pretty sure, $15 on eBay.
Oh man,
if that.
I'm gonna buy one. Well, I need something to watch my VHSs on.
You do.
Maybe instead of buying a VHS player,
no, I think you should
try to hook
VHS
that up to a big telly.
No, you still can.
Yeah, but half the fun of watching VHS, I reckon, is watching it on like a smaller screen.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think I want to see,
especially because if you watch a VHS on something like that,
you won't be able to see anything. You'll just see moving pixels.
I tried it the other day.
Not pixels,
it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
No,
but you do get the beautiful thing down the bottom. How I've rewound this way too many times.
Oh yeah, the static. Love it. So good. Yeah. So,
but what you said about, I have to disagree with what you said. Like, character's amazing. I do agree. Apart from Paul Walker's character, I think he was the one that, like, he was great, but there were the gaps in his character kind of sucked. I was like, you're overreacting in too many moments for me.
He's not a good actor. I think it took him a while to find what he could do.
Okay. Does he get better in the sequels?
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, I remember him being okay.
Okay.
In the later sequels.
Yeah.
But like
his hair, for starters, my God,
it's beautiful.
It was 2000 to a T.
Oh mate,
dude,
I'd kill for that hair.
Fuck, that shit.
It's pretty. He's a handsome man. There's that bit, the bit at the end where he's doing the slow mo walk away as the cops, and I love how he reacts like 7 times to the one emotion. Like he looks this way, and then he looks that way, and then he looks up and down, and you can hear the director saying like, look, because he can't have it. He literally does not know how to act, so he's like he has to be force fed any kind of reactions whatsoever. Yeah. He's a handsome looking dude.
He is. He was.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Paul Walker, and it's like it's sad, man. That's sad.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that he died.
Doing
this. It's really
sad.
What was I going to say though? I've forgotten what I was going to say. Oh yeah, no. Remember? Did you see Running Scared? Or is that what it's called? Not Running Scared. I'm making that up. That's a comedy with Billy Crystal. What am I talking about?
Is it Paul Blart, Mom Cop?
Oh dear. Oh my God! You just made me write Paul Blart into my IMDb as I was meant to write Paul Walker. Oh dear! I did not need to know about Paul Blart.
What's wrong with Paul Blart?
Yeah, Running Scared.
Running Scared.
Right. That's it's a like a full on kind of intense action thriller. Wayne Kramer directed it. Who did The Cooler? Have you seen The Cooler?
I have
William
seen The Cooler.
Macy and Alec Baldwin.
That was good.
It's a good fucking
movie.
Good movie. So Wayne Kramer made this really intense action thriller.
Okay.
And he's okay in it because he's
had a bit of time to hone his skill.
I guess
6 years.
I guess, but you go and watch something like The Skulls or even Not Another Teen Movie.
Don't go back.
He's awful.
Of course, not
Another Teen Movie. He's not in it. She's All That.
Yeah,
the movie. Yeah.
No, he's not. She's All That.
Yeah, he's in She's All That.
Oh,
he's the jerk.
Ass.
Yeah,
fair deal. Yeah,
and he's awful.
He's not in None of the Teen Movie. That's Cap. That's Captain
America.
No,
but who plays him in? It's the guy that plays him in Not Another Teen Movie or takes him off.
Yeah.
His name is. He's great. He's from Oh man, this is we're going around and
is it
around.
Rob Riggle?
Rob Riggle? No, it is
him.
not Rob Riggle.
I love Rob Riggle.
It's Eric Christian Olsen, who I like from Fired Up and the Dumb and Dumberer.
Oh yeah.
The one that plays Jeff Daniels in the prequel.
No one's watching Dumb and Dumberer. No one's watching that. Who's watching that?
No, why are you bothering with anything past the original?
Exactly.
All
right.
Yeah, so Paul Walker suffers a little bit, but he's the least interesting character in the movie, and that's not his fault.
No,
I think it's written that way. It's because in the hands of someone more charismatic, some of that stuff like the push and pull of his internal conflict. Of it's like, I'm a cop and I'm building a rapport with these guys. I see what
really
they're all
like
about.
Them.
Now I like them. I can't betray them.
There's none of that.
Well, that's meant to be there. That's clearly meant to be there.
It is, but it would have been awesome had that been there. But no,
he can't communicate it.
Yeah.
And so moments like
the scene where they're eating chips and he's trying to finally get it out of him.
Yeah.
Like Vin Diesel's trying to do his best to hold up the scene, and Paul Walker's just like all over. I'm like, oh, dude, give him something. Give him anything. And
like when he tells Mia that he's a cop. It's just so perfunctory. It's just yep, here it is.
I'm a cop. I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
could you give us that again, just a little bit better?
Yeah. Here's my direction for you. Be better. And there's the bit where she kind of turns around and listens to him and then calls him a bastard.
Yeah.
And his reaction is so like weirdly offended, and I'm like. Well, that's not the.
Don't do that.
That's not what you should be acting at that point, because no human being in their right mind would be offended to someone calling them a bastard after you just told them that you're an undercover cop and you've been infiltrating your brother's gang, her brother's gang.
Yeah.
Calling him a bastard is probably getting off pretty light.
Really light.
And yet he's like,
you're lucky she didn't pull a fucking gun on you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
So he suffers a little bit, but I think the slack is well and truly picked up by the people around him.
That's true. I completely agree with that.
I really like Vin Diesel.
Even,
oh, man.
Vin Diesel.
I like him in this.
Yeah, fair deal. Why? What? Yeah,
I couldn't believe how much I was just like...
Oh, what's the little kid's name? Jesse. I thought he had a lot.
Bug and Giovanni Ribisi.
He was great. I loved him.
Yeah.
He was so good, no?
Look, I
like him for... Hey, he had more character than Paul Walker. That's for damn sure. Like, he was the little one. He was the mouse. He was the one that I cared about. He was the one that you looked out for,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did kind of... Does he die? Is he dead?
Dies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Fast and Furious. Because I realised that once he gets shot, you never see him again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
This movie ends abruptly, not to get to the ending straight away.
It does. It does end very abruptly. I thought there was more, and I was like, oh, really? You're going to end with a race?
There's a lot of characters in this movie that
just don't get an ending.
Don't get an ending.
You don't know what happens to... Because you don't know what happens to...
all you hear is that Letty
you don't know what
Vince
happens to Letty.
And
like,
what's the other guy's name? The other one that's not Vince, who has
Leon.
less to do. Leon. We just know that they've gone.
They're gone.
They've gone.
Everyone's split.
Yeah.
Yep.
So gone where?
Letty's
doesn't
down.
matter.
Jesse's been shot. What is her name? Mia. Mia's holding on to Jesse.
Yeah, Mia's just on the ground.
Yeah.
What happens to them? What's
Yeah.
their, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find this out? Maybe I should watch number 2 again.
I'm going to watch number 2.
Maybe it'll answer all the questions.
Well, this is the thing, and I'm glad that I picked this. So now that I can start, I've actually forced myself to watch the whole thing. So now I'm going to watch all the Fast and the Furious. Why not? Furious. Yeah, that's what I call
the
it.
plural of furious. Furist.
You know what I did love about this?
What's that?
I love the fact that the cinematography on this was actually badass. Like, it was
bad.
slightly badass.
Yeah,
it helped the pace and the action move really nicely.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't love the racing stuff.
Oh, the blue screen. Is that what you're talking about?
The weird, just everything's just whizzing by, and it's really obvious CGI. And all of a sudden
it's like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, I get what they were trying to do.
They were trying to make it look like they're going really fast.
Yeah,
yeah. But as far as cinematic shots of parking the cars, the look of the cars, things like that. I'm not into cars, by all means.
No.
I couldn't tell you what a carburetor is. I do not know what that looks like.
I would have to agree with you.
I've never changed oil. I don't know what that is either.
I can do that.
My dad was a mechanic for 10 years. I still don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I know that people who are watching this, they're into cars. They're like, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Oh, that's badass!" You know, when they pop the hoods on these things and there's glowing parts, and I'm like,
"Well,
that's rad."
I mean, like, if I liked cars, I'm sure I'd be pretty excited.
Exactly.
But as I have no knowledge of what they're looking at, to me, it's just it's shiny.
It looks
motor. It looks expensive. So
I'm not going to touch it.
That's good.
But yeah,
I don't know, like. I get that it's not so much about the body of the car. Like Jesse's car that he's trying to race at the end looks like my first car. Like, but obviously it's got a lot under the hood and stuff like that.
Under the hood.
It's great, and that's fine. But some of these things, like, they look like video game cars. They look like the things that I'd play in, like, Burnout.
No, but that's the thing. Video games, so Need for Speed and things like this, I know because I've tracked the timeline of what happened.
Oh.
So this came out before Need for Speed, and then everyone started, they played off each other. These movies and the games...
Was Need for Speed
fluoro
not
It was.
What was its first generation? Like, what didn't it come out in the 90s?
Yeah. It was called Need for Speed, but it didn't look as good as what this movie did.
Sure,
this
so
movie
they've
came
taken
out
cues from all that kind of stuff. And
they came out with all the fluoro underneath the car and things like that.
Sure.
That's more Need for Speed.
Remember Forza Motorsport?
Forza, that's still a thing.
I got that on when I bought my original Xbox.
Oh, did you?
Forza came with it.
I don't like racing games unless it's Need for Speed because there's...
I was obsessed with the Burnout games.
Oh, really? Obsessed?
I became a master of Burnout Revenge, maybe? Burnout Revenge.
Yeah.
To the point where I would just be like Zen levels of just thumb controls.
Just know what you're
going
doing.
full Burnout speed. Bonus the whole track and just knowing exactly when to do. I was madly obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Favorite racing game was always Need for Speed, Most Wanted. With the cops.
Yeah, cool.
It was so badass because when the cops busted you, it turned into this movie like it would close in on the cop, and then it would close in on your car, and then the speed would go, and it would get going.
Yeah.
So good.
Very cool.
Good. Speaking of the look, this thing looked so 2000s, Tice. This was
It's pretty.
The look of everything, though, from the cars to the hair to the pants to the fact that Lenny's G-string is hanging out of the top of her pants, like that was a look. That was a look back then.
Oh yeah,
you weren't cool unless your G hanged out of the top.
Like they all look, not just her. They all look so like greasy haired.
Yeah.
I want everyone just to have a shower, wash their hair,
know, right?
And like de-sweat a little bit it was the wet look.
The wet look
was in the 2000s, so they were just they were probably putting motor oil through that fucking hair.
Anything, just don't wash. Basically,
just basically let your pores provide your hair products.
And Von Dutch, remember Von Dutch as a brand name?
Well, this is the thing.
No Fear, I saw a No Fear shirt.
Do you know No Fear you can buy from like Kmart now or something? It's like, I don't know if this has the same cred anymore. Well, yeah. I think the biggest problem with this movie is its soundtrack. It's
really?
It's
a bit all over
awful.
the shop, isn't it?
And there were so many times where I wanted to just enjoy what I was watching.
Yeah.
And it felt like the music to the fucking Don't Pirate DVDs was playing. And I'm just like, no, I wanted just, I was begging for an orchestral score, like an actual, something that was not bad dance dubs from 2001 because they are awful.
They're bad.
Awful.
They're really bad.
And they date the movie in a way that
so true.
It makes it really hard, I think, for maybe new audience to get into. I think it would actually. We're okay because we experienced it, so to us, it's not so terrible.
Yeah,
it is pretty
Someone
bad.
going back though, they're like.
But if you're a 15-year-old kid and you're like, I loved Fast 5 and Fast 6, it was fucking cool.
Yep.
Let's go back and watch the first one. I don't know. I don't know if you could get through it. It sounds
what
so
is this
awful.
Shit? This is weird.
How's Ja Rule kicking into the theme song during the credits?
So
I can't do his voice. I mean,
that was good.
Like the Cookie Monster.
That was Cookie Monster. That was badass.
I love that Ja Rule was like, he's like 4 foot nothing, this weedy dude, and he has this voice like
it's a deep ass voice.
Deep,
it's so good.
Deep voice.
It's not how you stand next to your car. It's how you make your car, or whatever the line is.
No, it's how you race your car. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's a fair deal. But the way that he says it, I'm like, you should be a narrator. Like that was your voice is amazing.
The next Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Ja Rule doing March of the Penguins?
And then they all went out. That's so good.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of lines of dialogue in this movie that think they're really poignant when they're just like, no shit.
Yeah.
No
totally.
shit.
Totally. Is it supposed to be a mystery throughout the storyline?
It's a good point.
Is it meant to be a mystery? Because it's so fucking obvious.
Well, there's no reason for the movie to exist if they are not the people doing it.
Right.
I could see a case to be made for it being like Ja Rule and Hector. Or whatever.
Hector is the nicest fucking guy.
No, but
ever.
like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it turns out to be them.
It could be them.
But then it's a very disappointing movie because Vin Diesel will literally pick up Ja Rule by the scruff of his neck and be like, "You're coming with me, buddy."
Oi.
I think they it should have probably been the Asian gang. It probably, if they wanted to keep, but then, you know.
I love that actor, by the way. What's that actor's name?
He's great.
He's good. Was he in Die Another Day?
Yeah, he's the guy that gets all the fucking glass
the diamonds in his face.
Diamonds, glass. Yeah.
So good.
Diamond Face, isn't that his name?
His name's Diamond Face. We're going to call him Diamond Face from now on. No, I need to find his name.
But I find that relatively interesting, the fact that... But then they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, almost literally. I like the idea that they're just... Like, they actually haven't really done that much illegal. They're just thugs. And so when the SWAT go and it's like, because he goes on that rant about disrespecting my family and the SWAT came to my house, and that should actually be...
That was decent.
That should be poignant. Like, but then they do a drive-by and shoot Jesse, and it's kind of like, oh, you are scumbags.
Well done.
So I guess we shouldn't have felt pity for you with that conversation.
Yeah, fair deal.
Anyway, so yeah, I feel like they didn't... It had to be Vin Diesel and his crew.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a movie.
I just found the whole thing a bit weird, like the way that it was... How the movie was set up, and I was like, well, it's not them, it's...
But wouldn't it... Yeah, it probably would be more interesting if we knew for certain that it was them.
Yeah.
And we were...
Or there were more, he almost got busted there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or almost blew his cover there.
Exactly.
You know, things like that. But because there wasn't, and it was literally just going back to the cops, to
basically
the
saying,
headquarters,
oh, hey, man, I need more time.
I need more time. And...
I've got nothing for you.
Oh my God, if you're going to do cop cliches, this is your movie for it. There are so many, no, we need more evidence. I don't care. You've got 48 hours. I'm like, hang on a minute. For starters, you don't need... Why is there a time limit on how you have to bust them? Like, I don't get why there's a time limit. And
because there's always like, some suit breathing down their neck demanding results.
Well,
that's movies. I don't know.
It's so fucking hilarious. Because I've stepped back out of it and I've gone, hang on a minute. Why? Why do you need this? You don't... It's fine. It's fine. Like, just let him do his job.
Let him do his job.
And then he goes, you know what? You're not going to pin me on. You're not going to pin me for all this. He's like, I can pin it for whoever I want, kid. This is part of the job. And I'm like, this is fucked. So hang on a minute. If he doesn't find out who's stealing these DVD players, for starters, you're going to fire him? Is that what happens here? Like, what kind of movie is this? But I was all for it.
All for it.
I was all for it.
Do you know, it took me like a good, I would say, almost an hour and 20 minutes before I realised it was Ted Levine as the police.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah. Honestly, I was just watching and I was like, hey, he looks kind of familiar.
Yeah, man.
And just kept going. And then he did something, or his voice did something, and I was like,
oh my God.
Ted Levine. It just jumped straight into my head.
That's because I look at him and go, I'd fuck me.
With that drawl that he's got.
So bad. It was so good, though. I loved it.
Speaking of mysteries.
Yeah. I can't find the Asian guy's name.
Do you reckon...
Yeah. I'm just going to look up Die Another Day. Yeah, keep going.
Do you reckon that they... Yeah, he's Rick Yoon.
Is that him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's the bad guy in Olympus Has Fallen. He's good. I like him. Ninja Assassin. Yeah, he's good. I like him.
I want him to do more stuff. He's really good.
Man with the Iron Fists.
Stop talking. What were you going to say?
The trailer for this movie...
Yeah.
We should have watched it.
Why?
Because... Do you know going into the movie that he's an FBI agent? I am an FBI agent. Do we know? That might be my best Keanu I think I've ever done.
That was pretty solid. That was a pretty good Keanu. That was decent.
No,
yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Do we know, though? Do we know? Because they make it a reveal.
They do make it a reveal. It's a bust on the side of the road.
Like, until the moment where he says... Oh, can you get these cuffs off? They're a little tight.
Yeah, man, what are you doing? I'm going
in that moment, if you don't know, you'd be a little bit kind of, hang on, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, everything would kind of make sense because there's that scene with Harry at Harry's store.
Yeah.
Where he's like, what'd you tell him? When he's talking about Dom. He's like, well, he wanted me to fire you. And it's well, you can't... And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, just relax, blah, blah, blah. Which plays a little weird because you think, what's going on there? That's a weird relationship for them to have. Yeah, that's true. So then to find out that he's an FBI agent, it kind of you look back and you go, okay, cool. So much better if you didn't know. And
Maybe you do know going in.
I feel like you do. They must.
They must.
Trailers always ruin shit like that.
They do. Well, they have to set it up for people. They have to go, no, we want you to come see it because of this. It's a cop infiltrating a race gang. Not a race as in a race, as in a motor car race. I'm going to stop talking. That's enough from me. Have a good one.
Yeah, like it would be better if you didn't know.
Yeah. He needs to do more things. Hawaii 5-0, stop doing weird shit. Marco oh, damn. Rick Yun, everyone. Rick Yun.
So,
Rick Yun should play Akira.
He might be a bit old now.
Well, you're never too old.
I like that. That's your words of wisdom for today, Nick.
Hang on a minute. He was born in 71.
Yeah.
He's pretty old. Okay,
he's in his 40s.
Yeah, fair deal.
So this movie, it gets lots of things right as far as its female characters go.
Yes.
I think Letty is a good...
Letty is badass.
Is pretty badass character. She's got independence agency. She's, believable. And Michelle Rodriguez, that's kind of her shtick. Even Mia.
Yeah, I like Mia as well.
Who?
Jordan Brewster.
Jordana Brewster, thank you.
Yeah.
Is, I think, a good character. Like, she's
great.
She sticks up for herself, even though, she's probably got a bit of a shitty go of it. Like, always having to follow these fucking dirtbags around and clean up after them and getting hit on by Vince all the time and all this kind of stuff.
But there was a scene, she was doing her homework, she was studying or something like that.
She puts them in her place. Like strong... she gives it to Paul Walker when, gives him real fucking sass when she finds out that he's fucking over her brother. So I was kind of like, hey, cool. Like for 2001, we've got, we had the F-bomb dropped pretty early, which was a bit disappointing.
We did.
Then at the fucking race wars... Are they called Race Wars? Is that
Race
what they
Wars,
call them?
Yeah.
That sounds really bad.
It was a horrible fucking name, wasn't it? Because in my head...
thought of that?
In my head, all I think of is Beast Wars. When someone says Race Wars, I'm like, yeah, Beast Wars, let's watch that.
Well, I'm just thinking of like four corners of like different people, like just like, well, yeah, you're over there, let's just all fucking kill each other and see what happens.
Pretty much.
There's this awful shot of like a wet t-shirt competition and a chick like pulling down her pants to show off her G-string and they're posing her ass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, like...
Look, these are the things that come with... If you've ever been to like a drag show or things like that, it's not aimed at... They know who their target market is. It is, unfortunately, the male population.
Yeah.
And they're gonna show some titties.
It was... It's so unbelievably unnecessary, though, in that moment, because we got the vibe. We got it all.
We
knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
We didn't need the shot. It just
it
feels
could have been
like,
a little bit more subtle, but yeah.
It just feels like someone, like we've talked about this before, it feels like the guy going, oh, all right, now we're going to move. Now I can sell this fucking thing. And I just don't care for it at all.
Yeah,
I don't need it. I don't need it.
You had enough of it at the first drag race.
You get the idea.
You get the idea of what's going on.
There's the hangers-on girls that are kind of they're there because they know these guys are rich and they'll pay them,
Or not even. Some of those girls are owning those cars.
but
Things like that as well.
Obviously some of them that are kicking ass.
Yeah.
And the one who like tells Ja Rule basically you're going to get a three-way if you win the race, and then just
full
tells him
titty
to get
grab,
fucked.
which was decent. And I was like, this is a badass movie. God damn, this is lovely.
Screams menage while he's racing.
That's the first time I ever got that. I've watched this. It's probably about 3 times I've seen this movie, and the fact that he screams menage as Paul Walker speeds past him, I was like, that's actually really fucking funny. No one else is going to pick up on that, but yeah, that's pretty decent. I did like it.
What else have we got?
I've got a question.
Oh, I love a question.
Why does Toretto open up to Brian so quickly about everything? He lays his whole entire life out. This is a bromance that he just... I feel like Toretto doesn't have any friends or something like, or someone of his caliber, because all of his other mates are just underlings.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, this is actually a guy that's pretty decent, that's stuck his neck out for him. Yet for some reason, lays it all out, killed the guy. Didn't kill him, but he beat the fucking shit out of him with a crowbar.
That scene comes like a bit too suddenly, I think, because I'm not quite sure what the scene is before, but we hard cut to the garage.
The garage.
To the garage.
Yeah.
And
the shed.
Within about it's a shed. It's not a garage.
It's a garage.
We hard cut, and within about 5 seconds of that scene, he's like, telling sob stories about his dad. And then it goes on to the wrench and blah, blah, blah.
Shows him the car
that's
and all that stuff.
That feels really...
It feels forced.
Sudden and forced, yeah. And it reeks of there being some scenes cut out that pad out that relationship a little bit.
Which you probably would have got in the walk, like when their car gets blown up from the Asian gang and they have to walk and then taxi it. I feel like there could have been a little bit more in there. Maybe one more scene just to get them a bit more closer together.
Did you notice that he says the exact same thing twice?
Yes, I did notice that. It was a hard cut.
Such a hard, yeah. What was that all about? It's a long story.
Move! Cut. No. Move! It's going to blow up.
Oh, that's that.
And...
What was that all about? It's a long story.
I was like, whoa, who's on editing?
Yeah, it's bad.
Who the fuck is on editing? Yeah. It was terrible.
But you're right, yeah, because then it's like, oh, well, I've got nothing but time. We've got a long walk ahead of us. Hard cut to cab. Like, actual opportunity to kind of build,
have some story
start
growth.
to build.
Yeah, character growth as well. Come on.
Yeah.
No? Anyone? Okay. Straight into the party with titties. Okay, cool.
I really do like, this is when Vin Diesel kind of was growing on me, is when he fires up at Vince when he's like, what did you bring the
Buster,
whatever, and he's like, he's the one
because the Buster get me out of cuffs.
Yeah, like it's like
everyone else is just chilling out.
I really like him in that scene. I think he's excellent, and then I really liked taking his beer, going, you can have this one, it's Vince's, and him grabbing the shirt and wiping,
just cleaning it off,
and then just and eyeballing him while he drinks it. I'm like, oh, that's a good little sting. I like it.
That's very nice.
Do you want some fucking cold water for that burn? Yeah, I liked it.
It was good. It was very good. End action scene.
I don't really need it. I feel like it,
especially not over DVDs. The fact that
lots of people are dead over a box of DVDs.
I know, right? I know. Like, oh, fucking Jesus. People are dying in cars and shit. A man's arm is almost torn off and he's shot. Come on. And if you were this driver, by the way, of the truck of DVDs, pull on the brake piece, have it.
Why don't any of these truck drivers stop? That's what I find really strange. I thought in the first one as well, I was like, dude, just stop.
Yeah.
You're in a truck. If you stop, these cars are not going to, like, they're fucked. What are they going to do? And if you just sit there and go, hey, man, that's all good.
Take it. They're insured.
Yeah. Or,
it's not my problem.
Or just stop the truck and be like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to shoot me?
Yeah, bring it on. What do you got a gun? Because I do.
Yeah, he's got a shotgun, that guy.
But yeah, I love the action sequence at the end. I thought it was great. I just thought it wasn't...
Sorry, I thought you meant the chasing Rick Yoon and his brother on the motorbikes.
No.
Which I don't need. I don't think...
Right.
I feel like they needed something. They needed another action sequence, whereas I don't think it's... I think it would have been better... No, I hate saying this because what do I fucking know? But it reeks of it being, we need a finale.
Let's have one more, yeah.
Let's have one more... kind of go off with a bang, whereas they could have just cut from Vin Diesel getting away to a chase between him and Paul Walker, which is what everyone's more interested in anyway, because that's the nuts and bolts of this movie is their relationship. Yeah, but you're right. The final attempted theft is so good.
It's a nice action piece.
Well, because they don't do all that fucking bullshit in the background with like when they're racing. It's actual stunt people.
Yeah.
Stunt
drivers, they're out there.
The Paul Walker stuntman is a terrible likeness.
Oh, really?
Did you see the cuts between?
No.
You know when he's jumping up on the side of the car about to do the jump to Vince?
Yeah.
It's like a fucking 50-year-old man with blonde hair, and I swear he had a mustache, and it was just like some old legendary stuntman who's like, all right, what do I got to do? Oh shit! All right.
That's hilarious.
They just chucked a black T-shirt on him and went, "Go jump,
You'll be
right.
Decent. You'll be fine."
But that's so. I am so much more interested in watching that than watching all the fucking CGI background going nuts and following this, pushing the NOS button and then going through the pipes and all that.
That was pretty decent though.
It was
especially
good for the
time. Come on, I love how Paul Walker can't race either. Like at the start, like the opening shot of the film is him trying to see if he can beat a time or whatever it is.
Well,
with
I don't really understand what happens. Like,
no, neither do I.
He's driving in a straight line and his car spins out. I'm like, did you try to turn?
Are you trying to say you're shit?
I don't understand. Maybe you get to a certain speed and it's very hard to maintain a straight line.
I'm just going to say that you're shit.
I reckon he's just bad. Yeah. But
why does it gets better?
Why do a bunch of racers not understand how NOS works? Because how many times in this movie
You get to a limit,
did
and
someone
then if you
push it
keep going,
once?
push it early.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't push it early. Just wait, because you've seen it happen clearly a bunch of times. Everyone pushes it and then goes, fuck.
Oh, I missed my
The
chance.
guy that's going to wait now and do it.
He waited. I didn't wait.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
God. I didn't realise I was meant to wait. Says all fucking 15 people who lost that way in the last 3 days.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's just movies, though, isn't it? Like,
it really is.
You got to dumb down that shit, otherwise,
not everyone can win.
That's it. Because then people would have to win for actual reasons, as opposed to dumb reasons.
What about Grease Lightning? There was no NOS in that. It was just a better car.
What happened in that? Doesn't he get? Don't they spin him out?
He goes over a thing and everything pops open.
It makes the jump, and
the
other one doesn't.
Does he win for that?
Well, then he spins out, and because
I think he just goes over the finish line. That's it.
No, the other guy spins out.
Does he?
Yeah,
I forget.
And then they stop the car and turn around, and he does the thing where he bangs the steering wheel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Damn it! I love
Grease. It's a good fucking movie. Yeah, I don't like the weird slow-mo in the finale when they
go over,
when Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are doing the drag, and they
look at each other.
The weird look at each other, and it's slow-mo,
it's bromance to end all bromances. It's like the start of it. It's weird.
It's weird, and it's a strange effect because it makes it look like a romantic music video.
It does.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure what the technique is that he's trying, because it's not something I've ever really seen again. It's like fuzzy slow-mo. And it's terrible.
It was awful.
It kind of ruins that moment, to be honest.
It wasn't great,
because it's a great moment, I think.
I just don't like that he wrecks that beautiful car.
Fuck, see, I know nothing about cars, but that is a beautiful car.
That is a lovely
You can keep your fluoro orange and fluoro green fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm not interested in any of that stuff.
Give me a muscle car any day.
Man,
Fuck.
that is a sexy fucking car.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, he trashes it. Lots of people trash their cars.
They do. There's a lot of trashing.
They do all right, though. Like, I don't see anyone putting on seatbelts, and everyone walks away from these crashes pretty okay.
I don't know. Lenny looked pretty fucked up.
Yeah, but she got out of the car. Like that, she should be all kinds of dead.
Vince should be dead. Like what?
Vince should be dead.
His arm gets torn. Like,
he's losing that arm.
He's losing that arm.
Like, let's be real.
Is Vince
in the sequels?
I don't think so. No, he's not. He's not in the next one because no one's in the next one.
Does Leon ever show up again? I feel bad for Leon.
Leon was great. I liked him. He was the wheel man, basically.
I just want to put it out there.
You need a good wheel man.
Do you know the name of the actor playing Leon is Johnny Strong?
That can't be right.
I shit you not. Isn't that amazing?
Johnny Strong?
Johnny Strong.
Just a few syllables away from Johnny Storm? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. It's possibly the greatest American actors names of all time.
No, that's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but his last name's Pitt until it was Brad Pitt.
Bradley Pitt?
You walk into a room and go, hey, what's your name? Johnny Strong.
Johnny Strong.
Mate, you are in charge of that room.
And starring Johnny Strong as Johnny Strong.
I mean, that's what I mean. He's starring as Johnny Strong. Yeah, Vince does not appear in any of the sequels.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to say he did lose that arm.
Okay.
And now he lives a peaceful life as an alcoholic gambling addict.
Oh. Does he really? Oh, you're talking about the character.
Yeah. Well, maybe he got one of those cars where,
Maybe he got a pink slip.
Maybe he drives an auto now. And he can still race.
That's sad. That's a sad day.
I don't know.
Look, it's not good.
Poor Vince.
Poor Vince.
He's a fucking piece of shit, though. Like
Vince the arsehole.
Yeah.
He is. Of course he is.
He's the only real one of them that I'm like,
he's in jail.
He can fuck
off.
Yeah.
How nice is that barbecue, though, at the end? Like, in the middle, sorry.
They fucking love their barbecues in these movies.
Yeah.
They love their barbecues. They love their Coronas.
Exactly. I love how they specifically say Corona. Like, obviously Corona had... That's another thing. The advertising in this fucking movie, Jesus, any motor oil car company at all ever went, oh, you're making a car movie? Do you need some cars? Do you need some parts? Yeah, I'll give you some cash. We're gonna overload you to the point where you have to show everything off.
It's strange that in Australia we have Honda Civics.
Yeah,
right. But generally they're like budget.
They're shitty cars.
They're budget like 3-door kind of.
Are you coming back?
Small.
Yeah.
It's
Are you coming back to Mouse's car again? Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, Mouse. I don't know what Mouse's car is, but it's funny. It's like, I know there are Honda Civics that are really great as well. There are racing models.
Right.
But for some reason, I always find it really funny when
they say,
when they talk about it being
I'm looking for 300 Civics.
300 Civics.
And
I'm
we're
like... If you look
what are you
up,
going to rent
used,
a bomb?
Yeah, exactly. Go to Rent a Bomb for $100. I reckon you'll get 300 Civics. Not bad shape
You'll
either.
be fine.
That'll be okay. Probably 150,000 at most. That'd be okay. You got a bit of life left in them.
Totally not.
They've still got the fucking baby booster seat in the back, but they're all right.
Really? Honda Civics?
Oh yeah,
I don't get it.
Plenty of space.
The fuck.
Plenty of boot space in a Honda Civic.
No one's getting a Honda Civics.
Oh dear.
You need all the space to hide to get the DVDs.
Well,
Did they take the DVDs?
Well, this is we never saw. They must hijack the truck.
They do. You saw that at the start. Remember?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
You didn't see it?
No.
He beat the shit out of him and took over the truck, and they all rode off with the truck.
Right, gotcha.
That's how I. So I was like,
what do they do with the truck?
So what are you doing? See, I think they just leave it for the guy because it's his truck. That would be nice. Don't steal the guy's truck.
Well, that's a good point.
They're family.
How are they moving all this gear anyway?
It's at the start with the guy with the shipping container. Did you miss that? Were you making tea?
I
didn't have tea.
The guy that was shining the torch.
I had a Corona with this movie.
I should have had a Corona. What was I thinking?
Come on.
Oh, what a waste of time.
It was decent. The guy at the start, he was on the phone, he was on the docks, and he's like, yeah, it's on the left side. I'll see you at 7 a.m. And he hangs up the phone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't hang up the phone. He walks off, but still.
I wonder who he's talking to.
I think he's talking to Toretto.
Oh. Gotcha.
Right.
All makes sense
and the Furious,
now.
Baby. Fast and the Furious.
I reckon that might be it, Nicholas. I can't really think of much else we need to say other than
I'm looking forward to Too Fast, Too Furious.
I am not. Because I remember not liking it at all the first time I saw it.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah.
I just want to get to Fast 8 or Fast Furious or the one where The Rock comes in and I'm like, yeah, The Rock.
Number 5.
Smell what The Rock is cooking. Because
Fast 5 is so good. If you watched this one and then jumped straight to number 5, you wouldn't. Your brain would explode. Like,
really?
They are such different movies.
But that's why I need to watch them fast. I didn't mean to do that.
You're living your life quarter mile at a time, aren't you, Nick?
I hate that fucking line.
Yeah,
that was the shittest line. No, that's why I need to watch them all within this 2-week period. I'm going to saw the fuck out of this Fast and Furious.
At least it would be easier to do because they're all such different movies. Until you get to 5, actually, because 5 and 6 feel like the same movie to me. I can't differentiate them. So, and I haven't seen 7 or 8 yet.
Yeah, fair deal.
But 1 is obviously quite different to 2.
Yep.
In that we follow Paul Walker's still around, but it's a different bunch of characters, different director, different vibe altogether.
Yep.
3 again completely different, and then 4 it's like bringing the band back together. So you get a different vibe out of everything.
Yeah,
so
fair deal.
I reckon it'd be good to watch.
Yeah,
you could watch those
I'm
going to
do it. I'm going to give it a
I'm
crack.
excited for 3. Honestly, I'm excited for Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift!
Yeah.
That's what everyone... You have to yell it like that.
Because it's a good director too. It's Justin Lin.
Yeah. Justin Lin. Whenever I'm in a car and it's a tight corner, but I drive when I'm driving normally, and I do it kind of fast, I yell in my head. I'm like, Tokyo Drift! Like, that's in my head. I don't know why. I've literally only seen it once. I don't know where I've got... I feel like it's a Family Guy reference.
Probably.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course you can.
What happened in Saw for the final chapter?
No. I have blocked those movies out of my memory.
Fair deal.
I do want to actually... Sorry, there is one more thing I want to mention. I know we're trying to wrap it up relatively quick.
Yep.
But did you read on the IMDb?
I read nothing.
There is the funniest story on there.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's horseshit.
Oh, God.
But it made me laugh so much.
Yeah. Here we go.
Rob Cohen wanted to cast 3 actors from a particular television show. They were all in the same television show, and he wanted to basically pick them up and move them into the roles. He wanted the Paul Walker character to be played by Mark Paul Glossier. He wanted the Vin Diesel role to be played by Mario Lopez.
Oh, my God.
And he wanted Mouse, or whatever the fuck his name is, to be played by Dustin Diamond, Screech.
Seriously?
He wanted the cast of Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell?
To play these roles. And apparently the studio said, no,
You're
because
a fuckwit.
I don't think we want our audience to associate with Saved by the Bell. This is a grown-up, kind of action-adventure film about cars.
And Rob Cohen...
Now, this must be bullshit, because if it's not bullshit, Rob Cohen is an idiot. Like, a legitimate
Who goes with that
idiot.
pitch? Do you want to work in this town
Exactly.
again, you idiot?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
So we're going to give you 40 mil, Rob. We're really excited about this.
Yeah.
We know, we think Skulls, it's a nice movie,
Not bad, not bad.
Really like what he did with Dragon. It was a big commercial hit, blah, blah, blah. We're going to give you
Dragonheart was good.
fucking
We
60
think
mil,
you're a bit
whatever
of
it
a-
is, to make this huge thing. You got any ideas? Yeah, I've got a fucking idea. Wait to hear this shit.
You need to get off your Dragon bandwagon. What? Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I know the series. Yeah, I know that. I know. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. You want them to be
Got 4 words for you, guys.
4 words for you. Saved by the Bell. What do you reckon? With cars, with fast cars. Rob, look, we're going to let you go.
Jeez. Yeah, we're going to go in a different direction.
We'll give you a call. We'll let you know. All right, sit on it. I've got storyboards mocked up.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you soon.
You'll come around on this one, guys. I reckon you'll come around on it. Give it time.
Seriously, is that really in there?
It was in the look. I mean, it's in the IMDb trivia, so it must be true.
That could be bullshit.
Of course it is. Anyway, I think I want to leave it there because
that is fucking hysterical.
blew my mind.
That is so funny.
Fast and Furious, Nick.
Fast and Furious.
Good watch. Good watch.
It was a good watch.
I liked it.
It was. All right.
Should we move on to?
Should we do?
Let's do what did you watch this week?
I didn't watch it. I didn't have time to watch anything this week. It was a bit of a rough week for me.
I will talk about. I watched Rampage.
Oh,
speaking of The Rock,
The Rock. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Do you smell?
Yeah, I don't smell, but keep going.
Yes, I would hope not. It was okay.
Of course it was.
I don't have much more to say about it.
Did you get your? Because when the trailer came out, you drew to that monkey, Tice.
I did.
You're an animal lover.
George is a pretty lovable character.
He is.
And
did you get some King Kong vibes in there? Did he save his friend? Did he die in the end like he thought?
Okay, no, I'm not going to spoil anything. I will say that there were moments where I felt an emotional pull to George, which were good. I think the movie surrounding it doesn't do enough work to make that relationship work.
Right.
Or to make the movie work in conjunction with the strength of that relationship. I think The Rock is pretty good in it. He's just doing what The Rock does.
He does. Highest paid actor in the world, The Rock.
Look, and I really like him on screen. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just want to see him do something different. Then again, like, we would never say that about Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, back in the day.
No, but he changed. Yeah, that's true.
His
prime, he did it well, but he brought a little difference here and there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Dutch in Predator is different from the Terminator. They're two very different characters.
Of course, but Dutch is basically a commando.
That's true.
So, and,
who is basically a racer.
Probably.
No, I'm kidding. John Kruger, that was his name in Eraser.
Oh,
can't believe I remember that.
Nicely done. Look, maybe not the best example.
Yeah, fair deal.
But excuse me. I'm ready to see The Rock do something a little bit different.
Do you know what movie I like The Rock in? The movie sucked. What was the sequel to Get Shorty?
Be Cool.
Be Cool. The Rock in that was such a great.
Wasn't that one of his first things? And we were all just like, "Hey, The Rock's funny.
Yeah,
The Rock can act."
He really could. And he brought something really different. And I was waiting for moments in that movie with The Rock in it. The movie sucked. But apart from that, it was decent.
Be Cool is so disappointing. What a disappointment. Oh, dear. One of my all-time disappointments, I think.
Really?
Because I love Get Shorty. I love it so much.
I'd love to do an all-time disappointments movie. All top 5 disappointments.
Top 5 biggest disappointments.
Fuck. What was
Man of Steel would be up there.
Oh, Jesus. No, because that wasn't a disappointment. It wasn't. The bar wasn't high. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
It wasn't.
It was pretty high for Man of Steel. It was much lower for Batman v Superman. Yet somehow managed to fall underneath that low bar as well.
No, what was the director of Donnie Darko? What was his next movie?
Southland Tales.
Southland Tales.
Sure.
That was
one of your all-time biggest disappointments.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, so Rampage. It's got some good stuff in it. The two main villains, played by Malin Ackerman and some fucking dude who I hope to never see again, were just awful and were written awfully, performed awfully.
Yep.
Just every time they were on screen made the movie dumber and worse. But then there's some other nice stuff. Like, I think the creature designs are pretty cool. The destruction stuff, it's pretty fun. Like, it really is pretty fun.
Would have been badass.
Like, you have a good time. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan is actually really interesting in it.
I can't wait for more Jeffrey Dean Morgan in whatever he's going to be.
Yeah, he's kind of fun because you think he's going to be a very particular kind of character. He comes in as the big, dick swinging, government guy.
Yeah.
And kind of softens as the movie goes on in a way that these movies don't usually do.
Okay.
Like, usually he would maintain his assholeness. It's true, this man has no penis. Like, do you know what I mean? For the whole movie. But he actually, you kind of come around on him a little bit, and he kind of becomes, because of how well versed we are in movies.
Yeah.
Like, we're so used to Hollywood structure. Everything he did, I kept waiting for it to be him fucking them over. And
he just didn't.
It didn't always. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But it kept. You kept being proven wrong by his actions, and I was kind of like, "Oh, this is weird. That's different."
Yeah.
There's some really weird, inappropriate jokes in it.
Really?
Yeah, at really odd moments too. Gags that do not work, that fall super flat, and you're just like, "Oh, who decided to leave that in? That's terrible." But
I laugh at that shit now.
You could do a lot worse, I think.
Yeah,
I think because I'd heard it was god awful.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with slightly higher enjoyment levels because it was fine. It's nothing to write home about at all. For even the stuff that I wanted to like more, like George and the relationship between Rock and the George, got kind of halfway there and just never really took off as it should.
Okay,
but
fair deal.
Could do a lot worse.
All right,
Rampage.
Looking forward to Skyscraper. Is it Skyscraper?
Well, that's come and gone. It was at the cinemas for like 3 days. Nobody gave a rat's ass.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
It was a fucking straight to DVD. Don't fucking watch that shit.
I'm going to watch it.
Of course you are.
You better believe I'm going to watch it.
Hey, man.
Rock's got a fake leg.
Fake leg, yeah.
It's a plot device,
Doing
apparently.
it for the disabled. Of course it is.
Yeah. Neve Campbell.
God, Jesus Christ. Pass. She's got a bad run. Moving on.
That's what I mean. You've got to support Neve Campbell, man.
She can't run well.
Cindy Prescott.
All right, Tice. Let's shall we move on? We've had some correspondence, Tyson.
It's time for our ever very rare but quite welcome segment of Mailbag.
Mailbag. Did you just think that up?
No, we've done that before.
Have we?
Mailbag.
I don't remember.
It's a good one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I don't know.
That's
maybe
hilarious.
it's not a good one.
I'm going to get you to read this out.
All right. So we got some correspondence. Very excited. I love getting correspondence.
You do.
And we don't have to wait for a mailbag special for this one. This is from friend of the podcast, Luke Watsford. Luke, we really appreciated you getting involved with the show, man. You've been awesome, engaging on Facebook and social media and always kind of keeping up on the shows. We love your work, man. So it's a pleasure to read this out on air. Good morning, Nick Tyson Videotape. Love your work. I've been watching some of your older episodes. Watching some of your older episodes, and so far you have made me buy Conan on Blu-ray, watch 12 Angry Men, and now I have a real urge to rewatch The Prestige.
Amazing. All three.
Not a bad triple feature.
All three.
Don't know if it would work. What order would you put them in?
I'd go Prestige, Angry Men, and then Conan.
Yeah, Conan's got to be the
midnight movie. You got to be
movie.
the last. Yeah.
Sorry if this has been covered previously. It hasn't, so this will be good.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to know your thoughts on the parody film. Do you guys have a favourite? I have a huge soft spot for Flying High. I can watch that film at any time and still laugh.
Yeah.
And this is the two-part question.
Ooh.
Have you ever delved into the war epics? A Bridge Too Far, The Longest Day, Battle of Britain, Battle of the Bulge, Tora, Tora, Tora. What I find awesome about these films, it was a time when the army was like, oh, you want 1,000 people jumping out of a plane? Sure, let's do that. And it's not CGI.
That's very
50
true.
tanks driving across the countryside? Sure. Anywho, keep up the awesome work. Looking forward to ID4, meaning our Independence Day episode from last week.
That dropped not that long ago.
Yeah, this is just last week's episode. So, Luke, I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, thanks for the letter, Luke.
Thanks,
That's
bud.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
So, Nick, let's talk some parody films.
Parody films.
Yeah.
All right. So we're thinking like scary movies. We're thinking Not Another Teen. I think Not Another Teen is quite high up there for me.
It's not to spoil it, but it's Not Another Teen movie for me is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look, I don't want to be. I feel like it's kind of not cool to when you get this question to say anything other than like a Mel Brooks or a Zucker film.
Yeah.
Look, don't get me wrong. I think they're fantastic. I really do. But Not Another Teen movie talks to me on just a completely different level.
It's so good
because it was 100% the movies that I was obsessed with. Like, I was obsessed with. Oh, speaking of Paul Walker, we didn't even mention Varsity Blues. Varsity Blues, man.
No, I gave it a rewatch, and Jesus Christ.
No, it's fine. I rewatched it not that long ago either. I'm still fine with it.
Really? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Are you counting things like... Because I still haven't watched Dewey Cox, because that's sort of a parody.
No, it's definitely... Yeah, I count Dewey Cox. Dewey Cox is excellent as well.
Yeah.
But like... I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all safely say we're going to stay away from any of those, superhero movie, date movie.
Scary movie.
No, scary movie's fine. The Starving Games, disaster movie.
The really
Meet the
shitty
Spartans.
ones. Really shitty ones. Yeah,
I've got no interest in any of them. I have tried to watch them.
Fair deal.
And they are just generally awful. They put a character in there, and that's the joke. Like, the joke is that they exist, and that's not funny.
Yeah. I hate those movies.
Yeah, they're awful.
God damn it.
But yeah, like, so, if I had to pick... What about a classic? Is there a classic one for you, Nick?
I'm gonna say, is there a classic one? What do you... I don't know. This is a hard question. I'm going to... shit. I'm going to say Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's
I guess I can pay that.
Yeah. Because
it's parody to a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah, it's spoofing off the zombie genre, but it's a comedy. So
yeah.
I don't know. Does it either that or this is Spinal Tap?
This is Spinal Tap. I think you can definitely pay as that. Yeah,
very high up on the list.
Do you have like a Mel Brooks favorite?
Oh, Spaceballs.
Yeah, Spaceballs.
Straight away.
Spaceballs is my favorite as well.
Yeah.
But obviously that's because we relate most to that one. I think. I'm sure. Stuff like Blazing Saddles, I think probably might be better.
Yeah,
but. It's talking about a genre film that obviously I love, but Spaceballs, it's a totally different level.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I watched Blazing Saddles for the first time. I think it was 3 years ago, and I didn't really like it. It was funny in some parts, but it wasn't speaking to me. Whereas Spaceballs, I'm all over it. It's amazing. Whereas Flying High, as Luke mentioned in the letter, in the email, sorry. I still haven't seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've heard it's one of the best.
Flying High, it's impossible not to laugh during. Like, it is, it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
It is a brand of humor that is so...
Will never die.
It will never die.
Yeah.
And it is so infectious. Like, you start, and even if you go in with the crankiest demeanor, it will break you down.
Really?
I promise. Like, because it is just so good-willed, so dumb but clever.
Yeah.
And you're caught up in it, and before you know it, you are rolling on the floor laughing. It is a really, really great experience. Of the Zucker films, I do really like.
Go on.
What one do I want to pick? I think
It's
I can't
hard.
go past the first Hot Shots. No, Part 2. I think Part 2's better. Hot Shots Part 2.
God, I love Hot Shots. I loved you in Wall Street.
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
Genius.
Even though they've all got classics, but I'm knowing this isn't a strange thing for me to say. I kind of like. I like the underdog a little bit. I like the ones that don't get talked about as much.
Yeah. I need to see Robin Hood Men in Tights as again.
Men in Tights is
literally
fine.
only seen
it's
it
good
once.
fun. It's good fun, but it's a bit silly, and it doesn't really hold up as well as you'd hope it would.
Yeah, fair deal.
Just one, like another shout out quickly. I've got 2 shout outs.
Yeah.
A recent one that I find very, very funny and very good is MacGruber.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is Will Forte.
Yeah.
It's an SNL thing. Val Kilmer's the villain. It's a great Val Kilmer performance. Knockoff of all the MacGyver style. Well, it's 100% a MacGyver knockoff, but kind of incorporates a lot of action movie tropes into it, and it's similar to Hot Shot in the way it parodies action movies.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very funny. Very underrated. Well worth watching.
Nice.
And
the other one? Did you have 2?
This is one from the 90s that I think people forget exists, and that's National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Loaded Weapon. I thought it would get a mention. I do love it. I remember being just really funny, and it's been years since I've seen it.
I actually watched it not that long ago for fun.
Yeah.
And it still holds up. The gags, like it falls flat in some spots, but I find it very, very funny.
Yeah.
And much more consistently funny than you might think. Like, it's actually on like a joke for joke ratio.
Yeah.
Pretty high. You will have a very good time watching it, especially once you become, which we probably have since watching it the first time.
Yeah.
Much more well-versed in the Lethal Weapon kind of vibe of buddy cop action film.
Mm-hmm.
When you get all over it, it's
it's amazing.
It really, really goes for it.
Yeah, fair deal.
And it's very, very funny. I'm just checking who directed that.
I like it.
No, so that's none of these guys.
And the second part of the correspondence.
Oh yes, and
have you delved into?
Not the classics. No,
no. I know all of those. I know all of those covers even, and I haven't touched any of them.
No, I find to be honest, I find myself overwhelmed with the runtime a lot.
Yeah, they are epics, and he said that they are epics.
And so I went through a phase where I'm obsessed with Vietnam movies. Like I really enjoy Vietnam movies.
Mm-hmm.
But the old World War II and World War I historical epics, aside from the ones that had come out in our lifetime, I'm less inclined to I know I should go back and watch them, but like I said, I just get overwhelmed with the idea of them sometimes.
Yeah, fair deal. Look, they're on my list. I will do them eventually, but I just haven't had the urge to watch them.
I mean, I'm trying to think of good examples of, if there are any examples of ones I have seen. Because I'm sure I've seen some, but they just don't come to mind at the moment.
I mean, my dad tried to make me watch. Not that it's a war. Well, it is sort of a war. Lawrence of Arabia. Like I never.
Sure. That's a different vibe.
Different vibe, but it's on par with like what Luke's talking about. The fact that they've gone, okay, we need about 2,000 guys on a horseback, and we need them in the desert. And action, go.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just a wide shot, and they just let them run. Like, these things don't happen anymore.
No, and it's such a beautiful way to make movies, and it was just so honest and just kind of like, yep, you know what, we need a stack of fucking people. Let's get a stack of people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really, like, when you do see some of these things, like, obviously we don't get the opportunity much anymore, but when we do get to see them on big screens, it's just, it's an overwhelming experience.
Like, the only one that I can remember sort of that rings around that sort of thing is in our time is Braveheart. Like, when you go back and watch Braveheart, there's no CG in that. They are all the guys there.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's similar to that, but you're not getting the epic that was of that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the start,
for sure.
when the film goes in and the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer thing roars and you're getting an epic, with all of that. It's nice to watch them. I love watching those films.
I'm with you there.
I've never gotten around to it.
Yeah. Well, then maybe we'll put some on our list. Maybe that can be our next installment of It's on Our List.
There we go.
I think we should go back and watch one of these really like legendary old war epics.
No one's going to listen to that episode.
No, Luke will listen.
We'll do an episode for Luke.
Yeah, or he can, if he wants to make it formal by request.
Fair deal.
We can possibly look at that as well.
I like it.
Thanks for your email, Luke. We appreciate
Luke.
it.
And keep listening.
Yeah, please keep listening and keep hanging out with us on Facebook. We love it, man.
Tell us what you think about 12 Angry Men. We're really interested.
Absolutely.
Fuck, that's a good movie.
If any other listeners, if any other listeners would like to
drop us some
correspondence.
You can get us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
And you can be featured in our mailbag.
Do we
segment.
do it like... what are we doing again?
Should we do it at different times, or should we try it together? Should we try it together?
Okay, ready?
Ready?
Mail!
No, we fucked it. Do it again.
Ready? Count us in.
Who's going to count you in? You count me in?
1.
Mailbag. Oh, it's not bad.
There you go.
All right, I might take that little clip of audio.
That's terrible. Oh my god!
Hey, it's time for our final segment.
Jeez, a big episode.
It is,
week.
but we've kept time really well.
I know, we're doing well.
We did good.
Well, that's because it was fast and furious.
It was, and we live life a quarter mile at a time, Nick. So, but it's now time that we do some.
Sorry, I totally didn't really.
Oh, it's gotten loose.
Let's try it again. And in 3, 2, 1. That was hilarious.
Oh shit, man, that was funny.
Sorry,
we're loose.
I literally went to say mailbag.
It's not. It's definitely not what it's called. I've got mine, so I'll happily go first.
Go for it.
Canopy, the streaming service that I've talked about a few times that you can get full access to, is if you're a student of any description. So you just enter in your school, wherever you're studying, Or if you are a member of a public library, you can also, but it's slightly more limited when it's just the public library.
Yeah.
But it's amazing some of the stuff that they're bringing to their service. Lots of old classic stuff. It's all good stuff too. They're the kind of streaming company that they're only really putting stuff on when they know that it has like a value to not just an educational value, but like a cinematic history value. So they're really kind of. They're choosy, but they're uploading a lot of stuff. Yeah. They've actually just uploaded 3 classic westerns, but I'm specifically going to mention one.
Western, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to get to one of them, one of the other ones, because it's one I haven't seen that I've heard is excellent. But the one that I will recommend, and it's a movie that I talked about on our what did we watch this week? Probably a year ago now. Yeah. And that's High Noon. From 1952. You can watch this now on Canopy for nothing, for free. And it's one of the first kind of revisionist westerns. Okay. It was one of the first that really dealt with the idea of the cost of the violence, and the moral kind of quandary of the Old West. Like, how is it that we, celebrate gunslinging and all this kind of stuff when it's actually like we got to think about what we're doing here, and maybe violence isn't the answer. One of the first films to really kind of delve into that. It's a classic like guy waiting for a train to arrive film. Wow. And decent. So there's the clock on the whole movie, knowing full well that our hero is going to meet his fate when the train arrives. And so it's got this real kind of foreboding kind of inevitability about it all. And it's excellent. Like, nice. I remember when I did watch it, I thought it was pretty great. But I think felt its age. I feel its age now. Yeah. But still an incredibly good watch, and well worth it, because it's interesting to see films of that era tackle issues that we maybe thought that they weren't doing yet. You know what I mean? Like, if you wouldn't think there were many of these until the 70s or so, when we all kind of turned around a little bit on that kind of stuff, and you had, some of the Clint Eastwood ones were a bit more reflective, thinking about stuff.
Well, when was High Noon? 50s?
Yeah, 52, I think. Yeah, so it was but it was right in the heat of the grandiose Western. It was right in the heat of that kind of like, no, it's all fun and games. We're going to shoot a guy in a bar, and then we're going to sing a song and take a shot. Yeah. And this was kind of, battling that idea a little bit and saying, maybe that's
stream and going, no, hang on a minute.
Maybe we can't glorify violence as much as this. And they don't, it's not like it's not preachy or anything about it. It's actually pretty subtle underneath it, but you can feel that it's trying to turn the tide a little bit and make you think about this kind of, this kind of glorification of violence in a different way.
Yes, they do.
That, films like one of my absolute favorites, which is Unforgiven, a film like that, which does that so well, and really, like, you can see its origins in a film like this, the way that it's like, Unforgiven takes that idea and runs with it, and it builds a whole movie around it, whereas High Noon, it features through it. Yeah. And almost surprises you in its ability to be kind of thoughtful that way. And it's very short too. Hour 25, in and out.
Hour 25?
Yeah.
Jesus,
including credits.
Quick.
Yeah, so it's really 80 minutes once you take out credits.
Nice.
Yeah, you've just got to deal with the fact that you hear this fucking song about 47 times through the movie. My darling. And it happens all the way through, and it gets unbearable.
Right.
But yeah, High Noon on Canopy.
Don't you love a movie that does that? The two movies that come to mind is Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's obviously for a purpose.
And the other one is That Thing You Do, which we love, yes, but towards the end of it, you're like, doing that thing you do. So funny.
It's such a great song.
I love that whole movie. Let's do that.
We should do that soon. I'd love to watch that again.
Well, is that starting Christmas? No,
I don't think so.
All right. Mine is on Netflix. Cool. Nice and boring, but it is something that I actually did watch this. I did watch this this week.
Oh, cool.
So I'm gonna. It's my what did you watch this week? And
combining segments.
Combining segments here. Only because it was something that I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch this. And then it turned into something that I actually really liked. It's a documentary on He-Man, but it's called The Power of Grayskull. Now, it does what I spoke about TV series.
I remember that toy show.
The toys that we grew up with. That's not what it's called.
I don't
at all.
think that was the name at all.
That's not the name at all. Let me find out the name so that you know.
But yeah, I do remember you talking about it. It was because you said there was an episode on He-Man.
It was,
and then there was an episode on something else as well.
There was
you watched.
Barbie. There was Transformers. There was G.I.
Maybe you
Joe.
talked about the Transformers episode as well.
The Toys That Made Us. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Anyway, The Power of Grayskull. What I liked about it was it told the story of He-Man, which I already knew because of the other one, but then it went heavily into Masters of the Universe.
Tyson. Oh, the movie.
So
Great.
it turned into a makings of the Masters of the Universe,
Amazing.
and I was all over it. It had Dolph Lundgren talking. Dolph Lundgren. I can never fucking say his name, and Frank Lagalia. So they both were talking and they spoke a lot about it. And Frank, even though he was like, no. But he did it obviously because of his son loved He-Man, things like that.
Sure.
And he read the script and like, I'm not touching it. Then he saw it and went, no, there's a lot to this Skeletor character. Let's see where they're going with. So you get there were so many little things that they had. If they had the budget for that movie, it would have been amazing. But because it was a toy company calling the shots for the film, they're like, no, we can't make a toy out of that. What is that? And he can't be wearing that. What are you doing? So they tried to turn it into something that it was a beast of its own, which the director, Gary Goddard, wanted to go, no, I understand what He-Man is, and it is this massive toy franchise.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to make that cartoon that you want. What I need to do is turn it into something that is a film.
Yeah.
So what he tried to do was make it a realistic version of He-Man.
Sure.
Which would have been Conan.
Yeah, right.
On Earth.
Wasn't this also a Canon Films production?
Yeah.
So
that
you're not
was
getting
a whole.
A lot of,
that was a
you're
whole.
Not getting a lot of help
beast.
from a creative side of things there with Canon.
Yeah,
I think I remember that in the Canon documentary, the Canon Films documentary, they spend a bit of time on that as well. And I can imagine if you've got
it was shit uphill, man. It was really bad.
Producers that basically don't support in any way, just want you to make a damn thing that they can make money out of, and then a toy company basically not supporting you.
Exactly.
Just want to make something you can make money out of.
And they're all going, go faster.
Yeah.
This poor director, man, and he had such a great idea. Like you see, She-Ra was going to be in it at one point. They had cast her. There was drawings of it. It was decent. I was all over it. I was loving the shit out of this thing. Battle Cat was in there. The whole 9 yards.
Oh, you miss Battle Cat, don't you?
The fact that all of these things were coming about, and Dolph talking about how he's like, yeah, I'm all for it. I know who He-Man is. I can't wait. Hang on a minute. You're telling me that I can't use my sword? What the fuck is the point? And he goes to it. He's like, so I have to pretend. Like he's so funny because it's him now.
Yeah.
Like they've only just
sure. Yeah.
So he's going. So you have to understand. I'm a guy, and I went through all of this sword training, but I'm not allowed to cut anyone up. So it's literally using the sword as a shield. And that's how he used it.
Yeah, right.
And it was really good. And just hearing Frank talk about him working Skeletor, because and I know that the words like Skeletor's script, Frank actually changed everything to the point where it was almost Shakespeare of what was coming out of Skeletor. Right. And it was just beautiful to watch. It was so good.
I like that movie. I don't care what anyone says. I enjoy that movie a lot.
This is our youth talking.
Yeah, it is. It is. And look, it's the nostalgic value. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's not what it is.
Yeah.
But that is a powerful like persuader.
Yeah.
And I really like that movie. I like watching that movie
because
it reminds me of really fun times, and I do honestly think there are some great moments in it. I do.
Yeah, such good lines.
Yeah.
Such good lines, and I love Skeletor in that movie.
Skeletor's great. I think Dolph Lundgren does a pretty great job.
He does a badass job. Yeah.
I like all the stuff with the key and all that.
The cosmic key and how badass that prop is.
Yeah.
Intense.
What's his name from Back to the Future?
Back to the Future. Who?
The principal. Oh, no.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, no. How can I not? This is killing me.
The principal's
Strickland.
name.
Strickland.
Mr. Strickland.
Was it Strickland?
It was Strickland, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I've forgotten of the name of the thing that I was streaming. Shit. Oh, it was called Masters of the Universe, Nick. Fuck me.
It's just called Masters of the Universe.
No, that can't be right. Because that's the name of the film.
No, you said it was called something else.
The
Power of Grayskull.
Power of Grayskull. Thank you. Yes, Power of Grayskull. There it is. Jesus Christ. I'm all over the shop.
Nice. I'm going to check that out. That sounds really fun.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Awesome. What was that on?
That was on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
All right, well, Nick, that's going to wrap us up.
Yeah.
Why don't you remind the people where they can find us, my man?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Rate, star, and review us all over iTunes or anywhere else. That'd be Stitcher.
Anywhere you can find the stars.
Tune in radio.
Just chuck some stars.
Chuck some stars, or chuck a rate, or chuck a thumbs up, whatever you can. Write us a review if you like. We'd really love some.
We would appreciate that. We're going to be running a little bit of a competition soon for our reviews. So we'll let you know as soon as that thing kicks off, but we're really excited. We want to see some reviews.
Yeah, bring it on. Toast's got a comp coming up. But apart from that, we're all over social media, so jump on board. But next week, Tice, we know what we're doing for once.
Yeah, it's been a while. Oh, well, we knew last week, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
We did.
Usually we get we get lazy and we can't think of something.
We did last week, didn't
we? We know this week because, Nick, we have a special guest.
We're finally having another special guest.
Yes, do you want to tell the people who's coming in next week?
Our friend Leon's coming in. Leon, who I work with.
Great.
Yep. He's picked a movie that we're pretty big fans of.
Huge fans.
We've watched it before. We're massive fans of the director as well.
Absolutely.
We're going to be doing Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, man.
From 1997,
I want to say.
7?
I'll double check right now. I've got that here.
Starship Troopers, baby.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. And it is 97.
Oh my God. I just hope it stands up.
No, it does. I watched it pretty recently. I think this is a classic for me. I would like to know more. Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
I'm really excited to talk about this, and I'm excited to talk about this with our guest Leon as well, because I think there is a heap going on in this movie. I think it is dense as shit.
Can't wait.
And so it's going to be a really fun conversation. Hopefully not too heavy, but
we'll keep it light.
We'll keep it light. Well, we always do.
Please.
We
spin off into
what's our fucking what business do you think we're in here? But yeah, I can't wait for that. It's going to be really fun. I'm really excited to watch that movie. It's going to be sick.
Bring it on.
All right, Nick, that's going to wrap us, man.
That was fun.
That was lots of fun, man. Enjoy Too Fast, Too Furious.
I will. And I will also get on the Dragon bandwagon.
I think we need to name a show. Dragon Bandwagon. And we need to do Dragonheart, Reign of Fire, and... what can be?
Game of Thrones?
No. The entirety of Game of Thrones. Yeah, perfect. Done. All right, Nick.
Sounds fun.
See you, man.
Bye, Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.